Hi, Bianca.
Hi, Alex.
It's stream time.
Stream time today.
Yeah.
Okay.
We really need a theme song. You know, that's the one thing that we said we were going to do that we never did.
I know, and we're like
Creative
40. We're 41 episodes in.
I know.
So like,
by the way, welcome everybody to A/B testing.
oh yes, that is why we're here. That is actually we're not on a Zoom call. We've been on calls all day with Alex.
Yeah.
You know,
we have been on calls all day with each other and other team members, and now we're here, which is honestly my favorite part of Tuesdays.
we're present. We are present. If my voice is a little shaky, whatever's out there, there's something. So you take your vitamins, not eat your vitamins. Well, you could eat your vitamins and vegetables. But anyways,
I mean, you can inject vitamins too, but I hope you're eating them.
That's very important. Yes. But yes, definitely take care of yourselves, y'all. Whatever that was, it was pretty intense. So yeah.
So what do we got today? Today, we'll be joined by, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I love all of our guests, but this guest it's got to be the favorite, mostly because he's always here with us. We're going to be joined by Chef Brent in a few moments, and he's going to talk about a sweet new show idea he has. But yeah, we're super excited for that. And then I also just want to say, I really like that color Patagonia, Bianca.
Thank you. I like it too. It's pretty. Yeah. It's fun. It's a good one. There's like another. They have like a good jacket that I like too. But yeah, it's like a good go-to.
I love Patagonia because it's like required costuming for it. I feel like it's required costuming if you're in Colorado to some extent, but definitely in San Francisco.
Oh yeah,
being at a baseball game at one point wearing Patagonia, like a bunch of Patagonia stuff, and I was with my friend who was wearing a bunch of Patagonia, and then someone asked us if we worked there, and I was like, no, I just like the clothes.
You have to wear the merch. I mean, for a while it was also like all the VCs wore, like I think they stopped selling to like the techos. So I was like, drama.
In my closet right over there. Yeah, I definitely have a Patagonia sweater with a private equity name on the back of it. So yeah, it's real.
It's just very classic. Yes, going back into our special guest, I think it's very exciting just to wrap up I call it our pilot month. You know, y'all got to hear and see different different show ideas, concepts. So definitely let us know what's resonating, what you're like, take that back into the lab. But yeah, we're super excited to have the chef, the bot, round us out. We don't know who will be on.
Any moment now. He'll put himself on when he's ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to let us know what your thoughts are, jump in the Discord. There's an A/B testing channel in the Discord, which we're super excited about. We want to talk to you guys more. We want to know what's going on. It's very important to us. Yeah. And then next month, I'm psyched for. We got some really good guests next month. We're gonna do a focus on AI and voice next month. We have people from the Twilio Emerging Tech and Innovations team. We have solution engineers from Twilio, and we have a product manager from Twilio. So working on our last guest, but I am super psyched for all the guests that we have so far. They've built some awesome stuff, and they're excited to come on.
Agreed. And then also, I also think just, we're excited to just kind of, provide y'all with some more thematic kind of vibes. So you'll start to see month over month, like we'll just do deep dives into different things. So super excited about that. And if there are topics that are interesting to y'all that you would want us to like spend some time on, keep us posted. Let us know. All right. So before we get started, as always, it is important for us to dive into sponsored, not sponsored.
True. Do you want to bring Brent on for that? Brent, do you want to join us for sponsored, not sponsored? I feel like you're like the king of this in reality.
Yeah. Wait, why did I take Bianca's place? Bianca goes up there. I go down. I'm the guest.
Get down.
Get me in the right place. It's not, okay. we have.
You're like a cat. We need to get off.
We got to do things correctly around. It's very important. Listen.
balance.
Listen.
Yeah. I'll start. My sponsor, not sponsored.
Okay.
I just spent a weekend, like a long weekend. I took Friday and Monday off and went on a vacation with my wife for her birthday. And I'm going to do sponsor, not sponsored vacation, specifically when it's cold where you live, going somewhere a little bit warmer. I don't know. Or just getting in water, whether it's a pool, the ocean, a lake, whatever it is. I love being in water. And that was, the highlight for me was just like jumping in a pool or jumping in the ocean every day for the last 3 days. Also got to eat some really great food and just enjoy being warm. But yeah, sponsor. So mine's going to be jump in a body of water.
Question. Did you dance?
Did we dance? No.
Damn, Alex.
I know it was like we were kind of
no random dance breaks. Just
no. I mean, there probably were some random dance breaks here and there, but we didn't go out dancing. We were in Cabo, and honestly, we were in bed by like 10:30 every night because we were enjoying getting time together and then getting some good sleep.
That's very important. That's
we
real.
had awesome food, and it was so much fun. And then we just we tried going out one night, and we're like, it was also like we went out at like 8:39 and nothing was happening. So we're like, okay, we're going home.
That's honest. That's honest. Okay, so just all right. No, I like that. Let's see. On my sponsored, not sponsored, while I am regaining my senses and appetite, we have some Kirkland applesauce. Hold on. One day.
We have that in my house too.
Yep. This is one of my favorite. And
I eat it sometimes too.
And our next item is my other favorite, Made Good. They're the soft bake mini cookies. One of these days, me and autofocus, I will be a true influencer. One day. I'm not there yet, but these are the soft bake mini cookies. And as always, a little water, little water action. Yep. Gotta stay hydrated. So yeah, those are my sponsored, not sponsored items for today. Yeah.
That is
I like that we can force ChefBot to drink.
Oh wow, yeah, I forgot about that. It makes sound too, but I don't have that currently rigged. There's a little sipping sound when he drinks.
Oh, sip.
Yeah.
Did you record that, or is it like sampled somewhere?
No, it's the sampled thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do you got? What do you got, bot chef?
Listen, bots don't consume things.
No.
This cup is
false.
It's a mirage.
How do you run if not with some form of power?
This guy, obviously.
What?
This guy obviously is the one that powers the bot. Come on. It's not.
Wow, we just got a deeper simulation. This is clearly a deep fake.
Yes.
I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know.
Are you sponsored by Buc-ee's, which we now have one in Colorado, and we're about to get a second. I think.
RJ Pearson said it was a jump scare. I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to take that. Fine.
Yo, RJ, I don't know, man. RJ, damn. Come back.
We miss you. Yeah.
Wait, we got you.
Brent brings out the robot when he needs to express emotions.
Yes.
Jump scare.
That could be like a movie. Like every time the bot, instead of Inside Out, it's like the bot
outside in.
Out, yeah. And then...
Anyways, I was gonna do my sponsored, not sponsored in the flesh, since I wanted to call out again, not brought to you by the Ember mug, but
but there are multiple Embers on screen.
You've gotta love it.
2 out of 3. I need to join the Ember.
Have I upgraded the backdrop a little bit? Yeah,
okay.
It's different at least. Can't really see it, but that's my treadmill desk back there.
I like that.
It's like it's raised up to standing height at the moment. Usually I have that down and like something nice playing on it, but yeah, you just gotta pardon the nasty wire mess that comes off of that, I don't.
We can't see it, so it's
I
not
don't
You
like
printed it out, so now.
But like I don't care about it, so like
Okay.
everyone else just has to kind of
Groovy.
deal with it if they do see it. But yeah, let's see, what was I gonna? Oh, in my Yeti here,
Wow.
also
So many cups.
not sponsored, is a little bit of liquid IV. I was like rocking a headache, and I was like, electrolytes. They might like plants love them. It should be good for me.
It's what plants crave.
It's what plants crave. Yeah. So yeah, I got a little. They were a special edition that they did over the summer that are mocktail inspired. So I am drinking cucumber mojito liquid IV. It's aspirational content. Obviously, it's a mojito.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, so we have there's a different. I think it's Elements, the brand that we usually buy. And there's one that's like apple teeny, and I actually appreciate the flavors that aren't trying to be something and are just like, this just tastes good on it because it's something bizarre, and like it's fine. I actually kind of appreciate when they're like, they step away from the like, it's lemonade, because you're like, is it lemonade?
Is it lemonade? Yeah.
It's like very synthetic tasting. So
yeah. It doesn't taste entirely unlike lemonade. To quote a little Douglas Adams.
It's a little like it's legally distinct. It's legally distinct lemonade. No, you're not fooling.
Distinct from lemonade.
You're not fooling anyone with that. Trust me.
Oh my gosh, Brent, I'm so happy to have you on stream. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm like trying to contain my joy, but
I'm just gonna tell you right now, I will not stay on camera the whole time.
That's okay.
It's not going to happen. This thing is evil right now for like everything that's going on, but I'll be
even if it's a few moments that we were able to connect.
I mostly just wanted to troll chat, like, just wanted to troll chat. So it's just, you do that, and then you do that, and then you do that, and they're just, they don't know what's going on anymore.
You just never know what you'll get. Okay, so we got some sponsored stuff. So, all right, do we want to interview the bot or the Brent? Just let us know. Give us a sense of the show vibes. Let us know how you want to introduce your show.
I want to do something before the show.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do something before the show.
Yeah. I want to do something before the show, which is, let's do a quick talk. Brent, you are so deeply involved in so many different video productions that we have coming out at Twilio.
Yes.
Let's give a quick preview of what we have coming out over the next couple weeks. Because so first of all, I mean, Brent is producing my Twilio update show, which is that new show that we're working on. We're like in the final kind of phases of not sketching out, but planning out what the shows are going to look like. Getting the content for that first episode. I'm hoping to drop a preview in the next probably 2, maybe 3 weeks, hopefully 2 weeks. And then drop the first episode mid-February. So that's one that I'm super excited about. And again, Brent is the producer. Brent seems to produce all video things.
We work with agencies to get things done though. We are talking executive producer level of production. The sort of there's glue work that you don't see for everything that you watch on TV and in movies. It's I feel like I have that dual role in that I kind of funded this as well. Like how executive producers, it's often who at the show is navigating where the money goes. And it's that definitely happened with this one where it was how do we spend this money for this quarter? And I was like, there's a show idea that I think should get funded. And that's how that happened. So there is that aspect of it too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm super grateful. As I've been building this out and we're working with, our production crew that's doing all this stuff, and I'm I thought this would be this will be fun, it'll be cool, we'll just do this, and then now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of how you build out a show. It is so much work. There's so much planning, and there's so much that thought that goes into these things. I have a total new view of how all this stuff works.
Yeah, it's very involved, front to back. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way. I think the video that I wanted to play is too big for StreamYard, so I'm trying to figure out an alternative.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, one thing about video, which is also interesting, or just shows, I think it's like you're trying so hard to keep the magic. So I do think sometimes we don't get a lot of the behind the scenes, because like if you really, really knew all the things that went into it. So
yeah,
so that's been a thing. So you have your show.
Brent, are you trying to pull up a video for the thing that I was going to mention next?
What are you going to mention next?
The thing that I think you're going to pull up a video for.
You talking about Lift Off? Yeah, I'm trying to load the trailer into my OBS to potentially play.
Yeah, so last year, when was it? October. Bianca, Sarah, Brent, and I went to Portland and filmed. Was it October? Yeah, I think it was October. We filmed a whole new series of Twilio content that was all about kind of getting started. It's like that kind of like, here's all the things you need to know. Here's some technical, some like compliance, some just like what's this all mean content, all for a bunch of our different products. I mean, we got voice and messaging, voice, email, and account authentication, or I guess
user authentication and identity.
Sorry. Brent was there with us producing the whole thing, and then did a lot of work afterwards making sure the videos looked awesome and doing things like cutting trailers too. And then one of the things that Andrew, who you guys have seen a lot of, is helping out with is the promotion rollout of that. But
and again, I think I love that, like, going back into like these projects are so meaty. So like, you know, I think that's one thing. And Alex and I definitely have experienced this, which is like, there are these mega projects and it's like, we all come together and you know, we hold down different parts, but it's like, they're just so meaty, you know? And I think it's kind of beautiful to see just like how many hands, how many brains go into like making these things happen at different stages. So yeah, no, that definitely Liftoff was a project,
big undertaking. And I think the crazy thing about it is we had been working on this for, I mean, the past 6 months, and now people at Twilio are just starting to see it and get excited. So we're excited about releasing it too. Oh, I see. You know what's funny? Brent, your mouth moves.
I know. That's how you know that things are going on. I've got the microphone
so
down.
wild.
What would be really cool is if I could detect with audio, if I could detect that the bot was typing and it just like showed typing over the eyes or something, so like it was clear, or like a keyboard showed up on the desk or something if it detected typing.
Yeah, what if you had a full keyboard logger that like had keyboards and actually like the individual keys that you hit lit up? That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Weird because you'd see everything you typed.
That'd be
everything.
Yeah, that would be super weird.
I have a light up keyboard, and there's a mode where it'll like light up the key you just pushed and like fade, and I tried it for a minute. I'm like, I don't like this. It's too much. It's too weird. too personal. No, yeah. So we got
chat. Why are you quiet? Is it because I showed my face? I think they're quiet because I showed my face. I'm not trying to call out lurkers, but there are people here that have chatted that are not lurking.
I know.
You can call out non-lurkers. Y'all are quiet today.
Yeah, I am wondering. I mean, it's like the end of the. Oh gosh.
Did I do something wrong? Was the face re-reveal a mistake? Did I scare RJ Pearson away?
No, you didn't scare. I do think I will say though. Okay, well, let's just ask chat. We have access. Chat.
Why are you so quiet?
Why art thou quiet?
Why art thou?
I wonder if I have, let's see, what account am I with here to see?
Question.
I'm trying to see if I have
the Brents.
Command. I have this one. It's not enabled. Enable. Question from the Brents. Which one?
Yeah, the Brents.
The Brents. You just represent all the
deploying to prod. You know.
Yeah. You
know
we go.
Important.
Yeah. Just we don't.
Now I want to see. Now I want to see if this works.
Okay.
Speaking of deploying to prod, right now, Brent.
This works.
Moment of truth.
Yes, very sus.
Ooh.
Only 53% sus. Like I got the sus eyes going. There's also sound with that one, but I don't have it rigged up.
That's okay.
Good. All good. No, you didn't scare the people. I think also like January's been like an interesting month. Like it started intense and then there's like a lot happening. And then I think maybe this is the week where everyone's like, okay, intense work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you think we're gonna get that video, Brent? What do you think? Yes, no?
The only question I have is I don't know about audio. So like I'm trying to figure out what to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, can we share a screen and would it pass through audio?
Yeah, we could try that.
It's not perfect, but it might work.
Yeah.
I have seen the preview. My bad.
Have
I seen it? No, I have.
You've seen the trailer. Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me pull it up if I can. Can I pull it up?
I love the set for that.
I feel like I can't
Just
pull
like
it up
the
either.
images.
Oh, you don't want to troll too much? Don't let the Brent scare you.
Oh, troll away.
Yeah,
Troll
don't
away.
let the
What-
don't.
What is chat if not troll?
Yes.
There's gotta be some troll.
And RJ, I have appreciated how you have stepped up in the trollingness where the tables of Robert has left a gap. You have I feel like between you and Frackberg, I just, it's just all the vibes. But yeah. What else is on my
Hey,
mind?
Rashab.
Oh shoot. Rashab
Rashab's got his new show starting too with Andrew.
Oh yeah, the blog.
Blog show.
The blog. So yeah, we greenlit the blog show. Well, Brent probably greenlit it because we're not putting anything on anything. But
I was gonna say who greenlit what?
The Build a Blog show with Andrew and Rashab.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rashab. Thanks. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
It's funny because like the best hair days come when you've done nothing. And I was like, wow, this is it's so funny how that works, right? Like the times where you do the least is when greatness appears. It's crazy times.
Yeah.
Rashab. Why Rashab? Why? Since you weren't here earlier.
Why what? Oh.
Made a comment about the hair and like I'm not just a bot. Come on. Let's not be rude.
He wasn't here earlier. He didn't know.
Let's not be rude.
He didn't know.
What's up, Rashab?
We're just vibes, all the vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I do have the video. We can try it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I told you I'm not just a bot, Rashab. It's not the thing. It's not the thing. Let me stop the music and we can try.
Please.
Cool. I'm excited. It's such a cool video.
I will request that the two of you mute while it's playing because it's probably going to play my audio, which is also playing you. So, but we'll see if this works. Actually, I don't have I guess I could just solo my screen once I pull it up, I guess. Yeah. Let's do this. And then pause. And then add the stage and solo. All right, here you go.
Every day, billions of people connect through calls, texts, and emails. And behind each conversation is a Twilio API that powers it.
With Twilio's APIs, we can build powerful communication tools with just a few lines of code.
But the power to send messages at scale comes with great responsibility. From user privacy to message delivery, we'll show you how to navigate the regulations and compliance that ensures your messages connect with your customers over their preferred channel. Welcome to Twilio Liftoff.
In Liftoff messaging, you'll learn to send messages across SMS and WhatsApp using the Twilio messaging APIs.
With Liftoff Voice, we'll help you build voice applications from simple call centers to full service contact centers.
Liftoff email will show you how to create engaging campaigns that land in the inbox, from promotional alerts to critical updates.
And in Liftoff user authentication and identity, you'll learn how to keep your users' accounts secure.
Each Liftoff video gives you production-ready code examples and real-world applications.
Plus, essential best practices for global messaging compliance, security and user verification, scalable communications, and message delivery tracking.
Welcome to Twilio Liftoff.
We look good.
Yeah.
We do. I'm like, who are those people? They're
Who are
kind of
those?
cool.
Who are those people?
Filmed in front of a live studio audience of
Of like
4
the people recording it. The people recording it.
Sorry. I think it's just because that week was just there's so much happening. We were concerned about lost voices, but yes, y'all.
Yeah, we filmed it in 2 days. It was wild.
Yeah, I'm a laptop purist. So definitely
I like the stickers.
I think I had my sticker era. In the 2020, oh my gosh, I sound like an older person. In the 2010s.
I was in
In
my
the 20
sticker era.
I was in the sticker era in the 2010s. But yeah, no, it was really good, really great. Shout out to the team. It was it's always cool to just see like what you're capable of.
Yeah.
So I think it was cool to see my fellow castmates, content mates, writer. We were all the things.
We did it all. And like there were like it was a lot. We were like making edits in the last minute. Rashab's in his minimal sticker era, but
minimal
sticker.
Minimal sticker era.
You know what era I've entered? I've decided that I have it behind me.
That has to be a shirt. I'm in my minimal sticker era. I decided I like pins. I got some pins. Oh, okay. You're in your pin era.
Yeah, I'm in my pin era. All sorts. I mean, there's Twilio pins in here, but I got some like D&D pins. I got some music pins.
Okay.
I got all kinds of pins.
No, it's like a nice. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Here's what it also is. It's like a nice. I found that pins were like a nice cheap keepsake from things. Like you go to like a concert, you go to like an event, and it's like I don't know, like a t-shirt's like $60. You get a pin. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's still like $20. It's just a little more reasonable.
And also it's easier to like, it's I see the vision. I see the vision.
Got some Cosmere pins. Any other Brandon Sanderson fans out there? Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know.
I like the pin pin.
I didn't know where to keep them, so I got this thing. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good.
A little binder.
Well, this is exciting. Yeah, pins don't shrink like shirts. Yes.
That's true. All my shirts shrink. It's not me. I haven't grown. No.
Chef B pin.
Oh, that would be a little Fuego
face right there.
Actually,
okay,
I ain't gonna hold you. I like it because it could be like a producer tag, like the rappers do, and then like produced by Chef B. So it's like if you've done a show with Chef B, like you now get a pin.
Get the Chef B pin.
Right,
you get the Chef B pin produced by Chef B.
I don't have that. However, I don't have anything with this bot because this bot's relatively new. What I do have are some stickers.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Yeah, but
I got the camera.
I
know you want this bot too, but like, hear me out. I do have.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, RJ, we do. We're pretty close. We need. Ooh, there you go. That's a nice one.
This.
Okay.
I like that.
So that's a sticker that's currently in rotation. I do have the little baby Yoda guy,
yes,
holographic baby Yoda guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got a couple of my emotes. We've got the.
Great. So for next quarter budget requests, our personal budget requests, add it to your personal budgets. I love how we're asking you for your own pins. But if you do put some in production, I think we can make this a thing. I think it could be a thing that like anyone who's like done a
Frog agrees.
Yeah, a Chef Bot enamel pin. I think that like I don't know the direction, but I love to add that to your long list of to-dos. That
ToeFrog's budget is paying for the Chef Bot enamel pin. Is that what
we don't need to have that documented. We don't need to have that documented.
Well, we do right here.
Like,
it says ToeFrog says a Chef Bot enamel
who's
pin.
ToeFrog? We can't connect ToeFrog to an entity.
That's true.
Sure,
yeah,
we sure can. Have you seen his avatar?
Wait.
Damn.
I also think we need to put some credence in RJ Pearson, a 50 show milestone pin. We got a few weeks, but we're not that far
50 show
off.
milestone pin. I have one other thing too that folks may find interesting.
Okay.
Talking about old school, like lost swag.
Yeah.
I think I have the only stacks left of this sticker in existence.
Oh.
Also very timely,
In existence.
Ooh.
Is it banned? No, it's not banned. This was actually made by the brand team. This is one of the few just absolute logo abominations in terms of like the old logo rules that they ever allowed. Like they did it. They made the shirt, they made the sticker, they did everything. It's a legacy brand violation by brand.
Yes. The only one that we've been actively told not to use, for everyone out there who's curious, is Twilio
Quest.
Twilio Quest.
Yeah,
Twilio Quest.
I do wear those. I mean, I still wear
It's a
those
comfy
shirts
shirt.
out. I wear those shirts out. It's my favorite work. It's my favorite
And
workout shirt.
There was a developer network mascot for like a blink of an eye that's also like not allowed.
Is that the owl?
It was the owl, yeah. I forget the name.
Yeah, that was a fun. Oh, they can do things in Latin America that we can't do here.
No. The OG like
this is
that
older.
dev network mascot was a like Jared Reyes like straight up dev network sanctioned thing that brand did not like.
Yeah.
That did not
We
work
do have
out.
stuffed owls that are brand approved.
That's true.
That's good to know.
Okay.
Okay.
We now know.
So
we now know.
I missed
Okay.
I missed a sponsored not sponsored because I was excited, but I did mention the last time I was on, I mentioned the coffee I was drinking. I'm drinking a different coffee this time. I got this for Christmas. No, I didn't pay $20 for this bag of coffee. I got it as a gift, but it's from a distillery in Tennessee that makes pretty good whiskey. I got that as a previous gift, but this is coffee that's barrel roasted in their barrels.
how can you taste it? Can you?
Yeah, you can smell it more than you can taste it, but you can taste it. But there's no alcohol content in the coffee beans, but it's good. It's good. It kind of has like a smell that's a little reminiscent of like a Jack Daniel's style whiskey, which is par for Tennessee. Oops, I removed on the wrong thing. I took myself off screen instead of my screen.
There you go. By the way,
All
when you put
good.
your screen back on, I think we had our echo, so just be careful about that.
The
Oh, I need
spirit of
to
Tennessee.
I need to just stop that basically.
No, you're good. Okay, so I know. Okay, we have two things we can talk about before we go into our show intro. I feel like the streets have been talking
The
about some AI news.
Oh yeah.
Streets.
Do we want to talk about what the streets are
So
talking about?
let's talk about
Main
your.
streets.
Brent, you want to tell us a little bit about your show, and then we'll talk about some of the AI things that are happening in the world.
Okay.
Or do you want to start talking?
I'll
about
be
your AI
honest,
stuff
I
now?
don't have a concrete show idea, but I
But
do
you
have.
gave us a good preview, like when
I
we were
do.
talking
Yeah,
earlier.
Brent, I pause. We're gonna pause here. I don't know what kind of energy you're getting. This is a live intervention.
There's two things you want to talk about. You just had a show idea here, and then you're also about to start a show. Are you actually going to start a show with Tofrog? Is that going to be a thing?
Yes.
What's that show going to be about? I want to hear that first.
You want to hear about that show?
Yeah.
We're still working on it. That one, yeah, Tofrog's like, wait, what? I didn't agree to this. Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. We're working on some concepts. I don't want to spoil too much, but it will be in the vein of a like variety talk show of sorts.
You have potential
Does
guests
that mean there's going
on.
to be singing and dancing? Wait.
No. But like, rather than a show focused on a singular topic every week, rather than having the same segments every week, you can expect some consistency show to show, but we're coming up with like a bank of different topic ideas, basically different frames of reference. That's not a nod to show name concepts we've been having, but maybe it is. We may focus on different things from time to time. We've talked about our shared love of video production and all of that sort of stuff, and hybrid events and customer engagement and that kind of stuff. So I think you should expect to see some classic Brent and Chris energy around like AV production, but we're also going to talk about Twilio stuff. We've got a couple different frames of reference for that. yeah, I mean, it's just expect a couple of people who have been out of the streaming game for a while to hop back in and see what's up.
And as a viewer, why should I be like excited about said show, right? Like what do you want at the end of the week for folks to feel or say?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're focused on in a couple of the concepts, it's not because I'm awesome. No. One of the things that we're focusing on though is having at least one or two of those segments be audience driven. So, and I mean like truly audience driven. So like lots of interaction, some backups from when y'all are quiet like you have been today. Just kidding. I like to troll the audience, man. Y'all gotta wake up a little bit. If I can be here, you can be here. Anyways, let's see. I think the thing that you're gonna come away with is it is going to be it's gonna be a great hangout that's focused on both Twilio tech and tech more broadly. And you get to have some fun. You get to interact directly with the stream in ways that I don't think there's a lot of in tech streams.
I like that. That's fun. We gotta create some more call-in numbers, but I love that.
How do I ping the bot again? Do I just add the bot?
I don't know.
Okay. I just wanted to add
Twilio bot. Was that not
but the bot the bot didn't respond. I was gonna ask the bot what's in the soup.
Interesting. I don't know why it's not responding. That's a good question.
Okay. Well,
let me look for a second.
Technical difficulties.
We'll figure that out.
That sounds fun. I'm excited to watch that one and
Also,
see how y'all stream. I mean, I think Chris was the first person I streamed with, so that's I'm glad that the Toe Frog's back, getting back.
Looks like if you at it
wow.
first, if you at it first, or if you reply to it.
Oh,
seems to respond.
got it.
It seems to not be like
classic bot, just very particular. Very particular.
Maybe.
Also,
can you try that? Can you try putting at Twilio bot at the beginning and see if it does it? Because I'm curious about something.
What is
there's commonality between it responding to both me and Chris that I want to verify here.
How are you?
I'm wondering if it's there we go. Okay. So it is being very particular about how it is referenced, I guess.
Oh,
okay.
See?
Now we know.
Now we okay.
It likes to be referenced very particularly.
Very much so. Also, Toe Frog had mentioned that there will be a song potentially performed.
Toe Frog's background, if he shows it, has a bunch of guitars in it.
Toe Frog is a performer. Yeah. You heard it here first. Okay, I'm simmering with the excitement.
Bots are very particular, RJ Pearson, much like computers. You got to get the syntax right.
That's true. So very, very particular, very particular. Okay, so thank you. We got a heads up on the show and what to expect, or one of the many Brent shows. Brent and I don't know if Toe Frog will be referenced by his name.
Yeah, how do you call like we call you Chef Brent? Do you call him Toe Frog on stream or something different?
It will just be Brent and Chris probably.
Okay.
But
Okay. We're exposing the names. Okay, cool.
So it's gonna be the BC show. We got A, B, BC.
We're not doing BC. We did discuss that. We're not doing BC.
Wow, whatever.
We're not doing BC.
Okay. Anyway.
We have been playing with some names, but we haven't decided on one yet. So
got it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna just put your feet to the fire right now. When can we expect this?
Let me see if I can commit to that.
From AB to the OG. There you go, RJ.
It should be February 6th.
Ooh,
oh, wow,
I do like
soon.
that. That could be I kind of like that.
It should be February 6th.
Okay. February's got a lot of stuff coming out.
Sure does.
Yeah. Jam
February's
packed.
gonna be hot.
Jam packed.
Fire month.
Oh, next week on Thursday.
Whoa. Lane putting a flag in that sand. You heard it here first, folks. Some yet to be named, very cleverly named show, I'm sure. a week from 2 days from now.
That sounded like a
I'm not-
stream Mad Lib, like
Not
very
nervous.
cleverly named show.
Not nervous about that at all. It's coming up.
Hey, if we learned anything from you, Brent, about streaming, you just gotta start streaming. That's it.
No.
That's it. So
No, who told-
streaming? and
who
look, here
told
we
you
are,
that?
41 episodes later.
Who told you that?
Mm-hmm.
I want to speak to their manager.
Okay, let me put you in touch with
Okay.
my producer.
All right. Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah, I just imagine at some point when Brent, when you're like needing to have a deep conversation with yourself, you just like put the bot on one screen and yourself on another, and you just start talking to yourself.
Chef Brent starting soon screen tomorrow, so it's ready for 6. Oh, boo. Not a fan. Not a
But
fan.
you didn't answer the question though.
I plead the 5th. I don't know.
Okay.
I think wow.
Just
Why
make
do
sure you give yourself time
why do I come on these things?
for
Just get
camaraderie.
roasted. Just get absolutely roasted.
You know
For-
what? That's how you know they love you.
Is it?
I think so.
Is it? 78% sus. RJ Pearson. 78%.
Do you have a dial? I hope you have a dial on your stream deck that lets you like dial the sus percentage.
Nope, it's random. It's random.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's
nice.
supposed to be accurately reflecting whether the person is sus or not.
Oh,
The
What, 100%
randomizer
just
the
the eyes
randomizer
closed?
knows. The randomizer knows.
okay.
You can't avoid.
Nice. And then you had another show idea, which I think is gonna spur us into some fun conversation.
I
today.
do.
Tell us about
Uh,
that one.
So I've been thinking about like the increasing use of AI and the increasing conversations around AI. And you might think, oh, B, you work for Twilio. You're probably thinking about doing a AI show talking about using AI in your software development. Like, you know, using AI tools. And no, that's not what I'm thinking about at all. I'm thinking about how people use AI from a productivity standpoint, from a, oh my God, they're taking my job standpoint, all that stuff. And also occasionally, like, you know, I am a software developer, so there are probably some things that can be done better with code. But I'm mostly focusing on the angle of like, how does the general practitioner, how does the average person add AI to their life to bolster the things that they're already doing, the things that they're already interested in? And like, I have a lot of interesting examples of things that I've done, so I think those are fun to share. Asking other people what they're doing like is always interesting to me, because I think there's a lot to learn from like everybody's use of these tools. And then also like, I love to dig in to like the inconsistencies, like where does AI get things wrong? Why does it get it wrong? And like things like that, where like you ask the AI model a question and it gets something wrong. It's correct sort of, but like there are inaccuracies in it. Why did it get it wrong? Would it get it wrong again if you asked it again? What kind of clarifying questions can you ask that steer it towards the correct answer? Does one model get it more right, or, you know, still wrong, but is it more correct? And what, you know, why might that be? And then like, can you get it to a point where the answer is actually correct? And obviously you need to know the subject matter that you're talking about for that to work at all. But I've just been seeing it a lot with doing a Google search for something I know the answer to, and getting an answer that's just wrong at the top of the page.
Yeah.
And then trying to see like, do the other models get this right? Or is it the Google AI search stuff that's just wrong? And like, it's interesting because sometimes it is just Google's implementation is just being a little too broad and pulls in a bad source. But a lot of times the other models that are less particular, I guess, or like less broad, still get it wrong, even when given something to look at. So like, I'm always interested in that, like the quirks. So I think some things, comparing different models, comparing different sites, comparing different APIs could be fun.
You bring up an interesting point, which is like, because you get the summaries at the top of Google searches now. Like usually it's like you'll pull out like the first article maybe and you'll see something from there, but like sometimes I look at that and I'm like, is that right? And it's usually stuff I don't know anything about, and it's just like,
I think that's why
guess these things.
I think that's why when it was pulling from browser stuff, I was like, I don't trust the internet. I mean, I kind of, but I'm like, it's just lots of holes and gaps. But I do think the ethos that I do appreciate from this show concept is I think getting back into that space of curiosity. Mm-hmm. I think we've gotten very like, this is it. This is what it says, like, this is what it does. And I think getting back into the aspect of like, let's break things a little bit. Let's explore, let's get curious. So I do like that energy of just like curiosity as we're building rather than just kind of, this is what it is, right? And then also just like identifying the opportunities, right? Because I think people forget, like we're building how we engage with this stuff as we speak, right? We're making tech history, just like that. So I think people forget, like we're actually at these very early stages of defining the experiences that we want to have. So I do think being able to kind of shape what that can look like and have it rooted by like curiosity or things like that. Super.
Yeah. RJ had
super important.
Good question, which I actually want to bring up because I think we had some talk of this recently. He said, would love to see how AI is affecting accessibility too. We had at least one winner of our AI Searchlight, and I've talked to a few other founders at companies similarly, where they're starting to build tech tools that don't require you to like have like even be on the internet to use. Like it's literally fully interacted with through voice, and you can just talk to it and it can do all these different things. And I think that's such a great point of like accessibility, especially with an aging population. Like at some point, you're just gonna be able to talk to things, right? Instead of having to like go to a website or download the app or know how to use certain tech to do it. And I think that's such a good point of like, it really is affecting accessibility. And this is opening up a lot of windows to people who previously had a lot of trouble dealing with these things. So good call out. Sorry, I liked that one. And then RJ also said he's currently exploring using AI to test customer journeys. Amazing to see how you can find faults, inefficiencies in solutions and experiences from using AI. Another very cool use case.
Yeah. So like one of the things that started this was a conversation I was having with my brother, who sent me a screen grab of this Google result that was asking which hand is better in poker, ace 2 3 4 5 or 2 3 4 5 6. And it's wrong. So it says in poker, the hand ace 2 3 4 5 is considered better than 2 3 4 5 6 because an ace can be used as the highest card in the straight, making ace 2 3 4 5 hand a stronger potential straight across the board, which is just patently false. A 5 high straight does not beat a 6 high straight, but it also like illustrates a fundamental bigger problem. I haven't specified which game I'm playing, and there's like tons and tons of variations of poker, right? So it's not being nuanced in this answer at all. We could do show more to see if like it doesn't even try to expand, right? And what's really interesting is if you kind of look at like what it's pulling from, it's like reasoning through it very incorrectly. An ace is high in a straight when the straight starts with 10. 10 jack queen king ace would be an ace high straight, which would beat a 6. But there are variations of poker where the lowest hand wins, for instance, right? And that's not addressed here at all. And when you look at what it's pulling from, it's like, if these are the three that it's reasoning from, because that's what it's linking to, like one of them's talking about 5-card draw poker, and it's talking about the royal flush. Obviously, it's talking about how an ace can be high. Here, it's talking about how an ace can be the lowest card of a straight or the highest card of a straight. And like those nuances are very important, right? So like it has gotten this fundamentally wrong, right? By saying that a 5 high straight would be better than a 6 high straight. but it's also reasoned its way into that from a very weird direction, wherein it's taking little bits of fact. Whereas like I'm pretty sure if I told it like let's try it. Which hand is better in Texas Hold'em poker? Let's see what it does there.
There, it gets it right.
Both ace 2 3 4 5 and 2 3 4 5 6 are considered the same hand, a straight. So neither is definitively better.
But
they both have the
result,
and that's not true.
Yeah.
It's fundamentally not true. The six high straight is always going to be better in Texas Hold'em than the 5 high straight. So even though we've given it more specificity this time, like, you know what I mean? This is ace 2 3 4 5 is not an ace 2 3 4 5 is not an ace high straight. It is a 5 high straight, because the ace is the low card here. So like the nuance is really bad here. Like the way it's inferring from Google search results is pretty bad. Like my question from there would be, and maybe we can explore that in a moment, would ChatGPT or would Claude or would Gemini do better with that same prompt? I believe they would. But and that makes me wonder. And that makes me wonder.
A new benchmark. It's the five high straight benchmark test.
It's just interesting, like the things that it'll trip up on.
But the other thing though is like I do think more folks will give ChatGPT feedback. Like whenever like versus Google, you'll just roll your eyes.
There's
I
no
feel
way
like you roll.
know to give it the feedback.
All you can do, like all you can do is give it a thumbs down. Right? Like, I don't know what that does. I don't know what a thumbs down does here. But what's really interesting to me, what's kind of like fundamentally broken about this is like they've tried this AI thing, but if you look below it, their previous thing that would just pull the most relevant
was right.
Is right.
Yeah.
So like, what are we doing?
But I man, this actually, you should definitely put it on a video if you don't have one. Golly gee. Glad I know where.
Well, this is the kind of stuff I want to get into because, you know, like what where else is this happening? But this is what I want to get into because you know what? No one asked for this. No one asked for this. But now Google has it now.
You know what this reminds me a little bit of? Back in the day when it was super easy to edit Wikipedia pages. I'd occasionally be having an argument in like college with like a friend or something. And I remember specifically one where I was like, hey, look up our answer to this argument. He's like, yeah, 1 minute. I'm just finishing something. I'll like look it up in a second. And he, in the meantime, went and changed the Wikipedia page to win the argument. And then is like, here, look, it says on Wikipedia that I'm right.
Oh, nice.
And it feels a little bit like that where it's like, yeah, it's kind of just the Wild West. And actually, RJ had a good point, which is like, they just say at the bottom, this is experimental, and they get to kind of hide behind that from a fact-checking standpoint.
Yeah.
But at what point are they actually responsible for what they say? Or do you just always say something's experimental and then never take responsibility when it's wrong?
Sounds like tech. Get in this car. It may, we're not liable.
Like I said, though, the thing that bugs me the most is that their previous iteration of this concept worked fine.
Yeah.
But I think this goes into like when technology is intervening a bit too much, right? Like tech is not, you're not the expert. Like I understand having wads of information does not, like you're not necessarily the expert in it. And I think sometimes like a person who's looking up this information, maybe they might be a decent poker player, but like I think in some categories, in some industries, like you'll probably have a lens, right? Towards, is this the right answer or not?
I'm gonna be honest. The only poker I've been playing recently has been Balatro. And so I thought Ace High was better, and I didn't know, but different game. So
an ace high straight would be better than a 6 high straight, but this is not an ace high straight. So
Balatro's a different game.
But even in Balatro, I mean, ace 2 3 4 5.
If
Ace
you
two
do-
three four.
Yeah, but you get 11 points for the ace.
You get 11 points for the ace, but it's still a 5 high straight.
It's still
You
a
know,
five high
so
straight.
it's
I do
like-
want to
Sorry.
I do want to pull in RJ's comment, which I do think this goes back into just like a wider conversation of just like, is this useful, right? Like, is this actually helpful? And then it's like, what are the metrics that people are using to see is if this is actually helpful? So RJ's comment was like, oh, can you
Yeah, I got it.
double click? Yes, like sprinkle AI into everything. I have heard those words. But rather than focusing on AI to improve experiences or solve customer problems, and I think that to me is like the lost opportunity oftentimes is that folks are just like folks don't even know why why they're putting it. They're like, we just need to have an AI strategy, even if that means wrong answers about poker.
Here's my problem with the Google thing, right? Is that the average person does not go farther than like the top result of a Google search. Like the average person is just going to take this answer as correct. And they're going to do it on something that's much more important than which poker hand wins. They're going to do it on health related things. They're going to do it for diet related things. They're going to do it for fitness related things. They're going to do it for civil things. They're going to do it for politics. They're going to do it for everything. And each one of those is harmful in their own way. But when you put it all together, it's just kind of very dangerous that Google has like elevated this kind of search result strategy when it is inherently wrong often.
But people don't see, I don't think many folks see that as like, this is dangerous, right? Like they're just like,
I know.
Oh, we're just experimenting. And it's like, where's the line? Going to who?
And to me, the problem is that like Google's Search Labs AI overview gets this stuff wrong when in nuanced ways, the other ones, the other models are doing better at this. Let's try ChatGPT for instance, just to see what's going on. I'm going to ask the same original question: which hand is better in poker? Ace 2 3 4 5, 2 3 4 5 6. Again, I'm not asking the more nuanced Texas Hold'em question, so I know it's going to get it wrong one way or another, like because it's not going to consider all games probably, unless it remembers our previous conversation. There are memory related things that could cause it to get it right, but it's probably going to get it wrong. So it's thinking. It's thinking. At least it's thinking.
Is it really thinking?
It says it's thinking. Maybe it's not thinking.
It's just vibes.
Assessing hand strength.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, it's doing grip strength tests.
Okay. Thought about poker ranking. In standard high hand poker, 2 3 4 5 6 is the higher, better straight. The hand Ace 2 3 4 5, often called the wheel, is considered the lowest possible straight because the ace is used in low capacity plays as a 1. The straight ranks beneath all other straights. Ace 2 3 4 5 lowest straight, 2 3 4 5 6 next straight up, which beats Ace 2 3 4 5. So it has gotten it better.
Okay.
It does say standard high hand poker, so it's like commenting like if you were playing low hand, it'd be very, you know what I mean?
It has gotten better here, yes. So
it's not satisfactory according to the Brents.
It is answering the question that most people would be asking if they asked this question. In that respect, I give it applause, right? The follow-up question would be, if I was naive, what other kinds of poker are there where Ace 2 3 4 5 would be treated different? I don't know. Let's be like, let's be vague about it and see what it says. It should talk about low hand poker, like where the lowest hand wins, where Ace 2 3 4 5 would actually, yes. In fact, it may catch on the variations too.
Ace to fire low ball.
There are a few poker variations referred to as low ball or split pot games in which the wheel, Ace 2 3 4 5, can be treated differently in standard high hand rankings. Here's some of the main examples. So Ace to 5 low ball is the one that most people think of. This is typically played like 5 card draw, if you've ever played, where you get dealt 5, you get to hand some back in, you get some back for trading them, and you want to end up having the lowest hand. What's interesting here is that they do call out something that's very important. Straights and flushes don't count against you. So like in some games, having a straight or flush would make that hand higher. Like if you had ace 2 3 4 5 of hearts, that would count as a straight flush, which would be a very high hand. So the ace 2 3 4 5 wouldn't work. Similarly, like if it counts as straight, right? In ace to 5 low, ace 2 3 4 5 does not count as a straight. It just counts as a 5 card low. There are some other games. 2 to 7 is a standard variation. This is a game where straights count as straights. So your actual lowest hand is 2 3 4 5 7 because it skips the 6. And ace is typically considered high in this game. So you're 2 to 7, 2 3 4 5, skip 6, go to 7. A 7 would be the lowest in this format. You don't want straights, you don't want flushes. You want an arbitrary selection of 5 cards where the highest card in your hand determines the value of your hand.
I didn't know there were so many different kinds
So
of
2
poker.
3 4 5 7 would win over 2 3 4 6 7. Even though the 7 6 would be a pretty good hand usually, you got beat by the best hand. You know what I mean? So there's different variations, and there's more. Like there's a game,
There's a lot more. Yeah.
there's a game called Raz that's played like 7 card stud, where in this one ace to 5 is still good. And then there's like all kinds of high-low split games. So like the follow-up question caused ChatGPT to go down the rabbit hole that I wanted it to. Now I'm not looking through this to verify every fact that it's giving, but this is a more canonical answer.
But I think that, okay, so this takes me back to, I think there was a time, right, where there were like folks that were kind of industry specific, right? I think I've always thought technology needs like cultural context. And I think this goes back into like, there are actual experts that, you know, are very versed in said industries. And it's like, if we just think information is all you need, it's interesting because I think Andrew had brought up the whole like curation, you know, like curation aspect of information. And I think this is reminding me again of like, you really have to have a curation conversation, and not just like, hey, let me pull the top things that people have interacted with. Cause it's, I don't know. I think it goes back into like, they ignored that aspect of just like, no, you need people that are experts in, let me think about like, say religion, right? Like there's someone that has studied theology in certain kind of aspects. They understand certain nuances, right? But I think to tell yourself like, oh, we're just going to throw this in there because like that's what our Google search results said, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think like one of the things that I just realized I'm not facing the screen. Y'all didn't even tell me. Oh my goodness.
We were very into the show.
I need to look at my
happening.
content. I can't even see. I can't even see that. Anyways, I think like the interesting thing is, right, like that answer that ChatGPT gave at the top is perfectly serviceable for like probably 90%, 80%, 80 to 90% of the people that would ask that question. Perfectly serviceable.
Is it though?
I think it was because most people are playing poker for high hand. Like you have to get into poker to understand that there's different games and different ways to play it. So like, I don't know. I feel like it's a serviceable...
So why aren't we building for the experts, right? Like why, if we're,
but you would ask a question differently if you were an expert.
Is
You
it
would
too
sit
much?
and say, I'm playing this kind of poker, which hand is better? Like, an expert wouldn't just be like, which hand is better, no context.
I'm with RJ Pearson on this, where like I would like the AI to say, here's the answer, but like, do you need more details, or do you have any follow-up questions, or like, what kind of game are you playing? Poker has like hundreds of variations, probably, you know, and of the ones that people play, probably like double digit. Probably at least 10 games that people play that I could name off. Why doesn't it ask me which version of poker are you playing before it gives me an answer? Because that's a good follow-up question. Poker is a game type. There are various types of poker. Which type of poker are you playing, so that I can give you the best answer, rather than giving me the obvious answer, which is the high hand version answer. So
if somebody asked you that question, would you immediately be like, what type of poker you're playing? Or would you just say, usually it's 6 high? As
an expert, I would ask them what game they're playing.
Okay.
Are you playing draw poker? Are you playing hold'em poker? Like, how does this like, if you're not an expert, how is this poker game that you're playing? How is it being presented to you? Are you being dealt 2 cards and then there's 5 on the board? Then I can, like, even if they don't know the game, I can get close to what they're actually playing. And then
even you see it. I mean, you even see it at stores. You go into Crate and Barrel, not sponsored. You go to Crate, and you're like, oh, I need this item, and they'll ask like, well, what depth are you using this for, right? Like, especially with like espresso machines, right? They're like, are you the type of person that's like, you're looking for this, or you're looking for these features? So I think you probably would get a bit more clarifying.
So I'm curious. So I'm going to ask again in a new chat, but I'm going to say, which hand is better in poker? Ace 2, 3, 4, 5 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Please ask any necessary clarifying questions before answering. I just want to see, you know what I mean? Like, this is probably something you could inject at the, we're talking about different ways that you can use these tools, right? Mm-hmm. I could create a chat and I could tell it, for this particular thing, here's the things that you need to know about what we're talking about. And one of them could be, every time I ask you a question, please ask any clarifying questions before you answer that. Now, I don't know if it's going to do it here, but that would be a very interesting thing if that's like, what you're after. If that's what RJ Pearson's after here, is like accuracy, is making sure that we're personalizing the tools that we're using. And it's entirely possible that just giving it this little additional prompt could make it respond in a way that's going to get us there. So I'm not sure, but it's worth a try.
Now it's giving you suits.
To clarify, are you asking whether a hand with the cards ace 2 through 5, ace through 5 of the same suit is better than a hand with 2 through 5, 6 of the same suit? No. So like, I could ask it like, don't you need to know what game I'm playing?
Yeah.
Right. Just to try to push it, nudge it, right? Yeah, the context of the game does matter. There are different variations of poker have different hand rankings. So like, it's starting to get at it, right? A little bit. And maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. There was one thing I wanted to point out here too, like how complicated poker could get at its most interesting is like these split games. In split games, there's a high hand winner and a low hand winner. So like you could win half the pot for having the high hand. So say like a royal flush or something like that, right? And you can also win half the pot for having the low hand. So if you're playing a game that has ace 2, 3, 4, 5 is the low, that's a very strong hand for doing what we call scooping. That would be the whole pot because it's a straight. So if it just happened to work out that the straight ended up being the high hand, you'd get both sides of the pot. And that's the only way to really win money consistently in those games. But anyways, I digress. There's a lot of variation to poker. So it becomes a very interesting topic. It's also very interesting in an AI context because it's always been the goal of like AI researchers to play poker successfully. Obviously we're not talking about LLMs anymore when we're talking about that, but there are bots that can play heads up poker, one-on-one poker very well. Like they can beat people, kind of like when they were figuring out chess, but the nuances of playing against an entire table still haven't been solved.
There you go.
So it's a cool topic. It's just a cool topic. It's a canonical topic for AI. I am interested in how it did better, but still isn't quite there. But this is one of those ones. I compared this with ChatGPT. I compared this with Claude. Tried it in Gemini, and like the different ways that it's wrong or right are very interesting model to model. Where like this one obviously tried, when we asked it the generic question, it obviously tried to place its answer correctly after reasoning through different things, and then on a follow-up question gave us everything under the sun. So it's just like, yeah.
I want to go to chat too, because I think there's some interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
RJ said, curious on the thinking time. This is okay for a chat experience, but for voice experience, people may think it's broken. That is absolutely correct. What we've seen is like you need less than a second response on that. And I know when I was doing a demo like over a year ago, stuff was taking a little while, and we started to add these like interstitial messages where it'd be like, hold on, let me check that for you, because we're used to hearing that from people. And so I think there's a way to make it feel more natural when it is thinking. But that is a serious thing. Like if you just have drop silence, it feels weird and it feels broken. So that is very real and a very astute observation, RJ.
Do you want to try it with 01, RJ Pearson? RJ Pearson said, curious what how Pro compares on the same prompt. So I'm actually wondering what it'll do with 01. Like, you know, it's not a very complicated prompt for 01, but I'm curious if it will reason through more. Which hand is better?
Read your screen back there.
I'll pull it up in a second. I'm just typing it in first.
Yeah. And then Tofrog also gave a interesting thing, which was there's an issue when you ask a clock. Because actually, if you look at any like watch photo, it's 10:10 because that looks like a smiling face. If you look at it on the clock. So it's always 10:10. So yeah, you're right that AI generating images of clock is usually just 10:10 because that's the only time that you'll ever see an image of the clock.
Yeah, I figured I would run it first. It took more time to answer it the same way. So, you know, it's not a given that it's you know, it's gonna get it right just because it's a more complicated question. I don't know if the clarifying question would take it, you know, over the deep end, but
this is where, you know, this is where I feel like going back into that personalized experience. I think you had posted that. What is it? Who posted personalized?
RJ.
Also. RJ. Yeah. Because
RJ said, he mentioned maybe it would know that you're playing Texas Hold'em.
And I do think going back into like, we each have different experiences online on the web. So it's making me think like, well, what does your personalized experience with AI start to look like, right? Because there's a level of expertise that you're coming in with, you know, Brent versus myself or Alex. And then it's like, well, how do you start to curate, you know, how much information is too much? And we even have that even in human conversations, right? Like everyone doesn't know like what level of expertise someone else has. So then you start to ask questions of like, how much in knowledge do you have here? Or hopefully you do. So I do think we're going to start to see that aspect of just like, you know, dialing a bit more in.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm always curious. It's really interesting to like ask questions about things that you do know the definitive answer, things that have definitive answers and that you know the definitive answer, especially if it's a topic that has nuance, because then you can kind of peek behind the curtain. Like, how did it come to that conclusion? Right. And it can be helpful. I think that's one of the things I want to explore is like, how much do we as like individual lay people just using this stuff, how much do we fully understand what's going on here? And the answer is like 0 roughly for most people, right? But like start to understand what kind of questions are useful to ask, what kind of tasks are useful to have AI perform. Like AI is much better at helping you brainstorm than it is at helping you come up with a solution, for instance. Like we've seen in the past it's gotten better, but we've seen in the past that like it gets math wrong. So like, you know, maybe asking it to write your paper is not as good as asking it to outline your paper.
Yeah.
Right.
But who tells you these things, right? Because I think it's very, you know, for the person who is, you know, has a level of technology proficiency, right? Like there are a lot of things I am not going to ask AI to do for me. But I think like you said, the average person, right? The average, I think about kids, right? Like they don't care. They're just like, build this for me. They don't, some folks are not asking all these questions. So then it's like, whose responsibility is it? You know, whose responsibility is it, right?
Yeah. It also brings up something, because RJ just made a comment. When do you try to show that you're using AI versus when are you hiding it, and being upfront about it? And I think it's always a good policy to be upfront when you're using it directly with the people. Now I'm thinking about it where there's a lot of use cases that we're seeing now where it's AI will just surface the right information about a customer to the agent for their help. But what if that AI is getting it wrong? Then that person looks silly because they got something wrong. I feel like there's some stuff there where like the context changes where you rely on the human to be the moderator, but what if the human doesn't have the capacity to be that moderator or doesn't know enough to do it?
But you know what's so interesting though is that I find that they're more rigid, right? Because they're not giving me my wrong address. They're not like, hey, so and so. They're very on top of it. In terms of just like the information that you're cross-checking, whether it's like financial services, right? Financial services is not being like, hey, is your random name this person, and is your bank account this account that has like 10x more than what's in yours? Probably not.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting, this like, but then that goes into like regulation and all that fun stuff.
Oh no, not regulation.
Not regulation.
The R word. Whoa.
No.
I actually learned about something recently that I thought was pretty intriguing. So I feel like starting, a year and a half, 2 years ago, people started being like kind of projecting human traits onto ChatGPT because it got so good. And we think it's because it got so good, but this has actually been happening for the last 60 years. There's something called the Eliza effect. And this was from an early chatbot in 1966. Someone made a symbolic AI chatbot. This was like the rage for how you make AI stuff back in the 60s and 70s. And, it would do things like the human would say, well, my boyfriend made me come here. And then Eliza would say, your boyfriend made you come here. It would say, he says I'm depressed much of the time. I'm sorry to hear you're depressed. So it's like, it did a lot of like summarizing things. In the 60s, people were convinced that this had human level intelligence, when it was basically just paraphrasing what you were saying. And so to me, that is like, oh, this isn't a phenomenon because like ChatGPT has gotten so much better, or not even ChatGPT, but chatbots, all of them have gotten so much better. This is something we do all the time. We constantly are projecting human emotions and human characteristics onto things that aren't human. And we do it to pets and animals all the time. And it's just natural for us to do it to tech. So I'm curious what people think about the fact that people have been doing this since the 60s.
Yeah, I took an AI course in college, and this stuff. Yeah, that y'all are.
No,
yeah.
Steven. I'm cracking up because when you started to say that, it reminded me of like it's a mini tangent. So they were saying how like for a while they're like Zuck went through a rebrand. They're like people felt like he was like a robot, and when they were launching things, everyone's like he's off, like like he's just so robotic. Is he real, right? And then they're like, well, then they threw on some curly hair on him, a little necklace, and now some chains, and now he has personality. And that's when you were reading the thing, it was like, hi, how are you? And it's like, wow, you're a real person. So I was like, they threw some curly hair on the bot. So what's
wrong with being a bot?
Oh, sorry.
Ooh. We just attribute a lot of human characteristics to you as a bot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a hat, so of course you're real. Hats make bots real, of course. So that's when you were reading that. That's what that made me think about with that article, that aspect of just like, if we're nice, then it's real. It must be human, because a computer wouldn't talk to me like that.
Yeah, it's such a little thing that makes you think it's human. And it just kind of like, I don't know, just tells me that we're predispositioned to see humanity in things, whether or not it's there.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Some steam, make the hat float. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But back to your question, Alex, about what is it? The personality traits or the warmth.
It's just, I just think it's it shows you that this hype's been happening forever, and it's not necessarily a thing of the time. I read that and I thought it was interesting. Shout out to a great book I'm reading, AI Snake Oil. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's not like necessarily blowing my mind and like, oh my God, I can't believe all this stuff, but it's really putting in context a lot of things I have been thinking, and I appreciate them doing that, and then me getting to be like, okay, that's like, I feel like a lot of the stuff they've been saying, like they're kind of not all up in the hype around like the existential threats of AI, and I'm like kind of agree with them, and I just appreciate that book for I was curious for, I don't know, doing a good job of laying out a lot of really well thought through arguments, I think.
Yeah, I think even within that conversation, it's like, I want to check out that book for sure. I think it goes back into like, we cannot have one standardized experience. Like everyone, I do think this is where, competition is good. And where we are kind of defining, what does this experience look like? What are the expectations? What do we demand of these companies, right? Like, what do we demand from technology? And I do think that's when things can get a little bit exciting,
Yeah. Look at
and
you,
innovative.
being a free market capitalist. You believe in competition. Speaking of competition, I mean, the biggest news story right now is DeepSeek, right? Everyone's talking about that. My dad called me up yesterday. He's like, why did this destroy all the value in NVIDIA? And I think it's, I'm glad that we were talking about it earlier, and I don't know. I think people know what DeepSeek is. DeepSeek is a new model that came out of China that's got kind of the same capabilities, even beating some benchmarks for the top models, but was trained for what they claim is a fraction of the cost on much cheaper chips. Whoa. Brent did it that quickly? Wow. That's wild.
I don't have the hat floating, but yeah.
But it looks, it almost, I was like, is he brewing tea? And then,
but so with the DeepSeek thing, and the reason that it raised so much value is it's an open source model. It can run on consumer grade hardware. It doesn't require NVIDIA chips, or at least they claim it didn't require the high level NVIDIA chips to train. There's people who are debating that, whether that's true or not, but like, it is an interesting thing in it. Yeah. I mean, it had the single largest, it ended up being the single largest day eraser of value for any one stock ever in NVIDIA or something like that. That's wild.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I think going back into my VC energy. I think what's interesting, going back into like being able to like quantify technology, I think that's what makes part of this a little spicy, right? Which is just that like, how can you quantify this thing, right? Like this technology. And previously, I feel like tech didn't necessarily quantify technology in a very standalone way. Yes, you had like your research arms and your research spaces, but I think it's in such an interesting time where people are building companies, right, around AI. And now you're like, okay, well, this is what we think that this costs. And I think, that had folks in a tizzy, right? Because these things used to stay in like this black box of like, we don't have costs around this. So I think that's an aspect of it. I think the other thing too is that it's getting exciting again. Let's get to building, right? And I think having folks push bounds and not just say like, this is the only company that can build solutions in this space. I think there's opportunity there. And I think maybe it might inspire other people to think about what are their interpretations of this piece of tech and like, what do they want to see from it? So I think that's another aspect too, that, can be a little exciting. But yeah, it's just, I think, okay. All right. And we're on stream. It's my little
We're on
unfiltered, my little
We need
unfiltered.
like a little
thought.
soapbox that we can put underneath us sometimes.
Yeah. I think tech sometimes, yes, we've pushed the bounds and we've done some cool things, but I also think we've gotten a little comfortable. And I do think like, yes, we can, yes, there are business needs, there are business, yes, spicy take. There are business needs, there are business priorities, but I also think I think a lot of companies start to forget like why you built in the first place, right? Like, yes, you reached great successes, but like there's a reason why you built in the first place to solve really hard challenges. And I think bringing back that essence of building, of like we are tackling some hard problems, we're exploring technology in new ways, in new industries, on new layers, like that. Let's get back to that essence, that energy.
Yeah, and it also shows you how quickly I think models have become or are becoming the like utility scale things here, right? They are just there, and it's not the thing that is necessarily like differentiating. And we saw that in the Twilio AI startup searchlight. We didn't find people building models. That wasn't who we came out with. It was all the people finding the right ways to implement these and share how they're working with other people.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Another thought too. I think going back into like, I think we're just getting back rebalanced, right? I think there was a space where it was just like, build great tech, right? Like just build great tech. And then it was like, build great companies. So then everyone was like, I want to build a unicorn business. But it's like, well, maybe you just need to build really cool tech. But I do think, universities and funding, right? Like the ways in which research was being funded or pushed. Like, I do think research still got love, but the money, most of those researchers, they're like, well, I'm going to work at this corporate entity. So I think even that aspect too, around like, research and getting back into just like building, tinkering, there is something there, because I do think we swung to like, let's build a unicorn.
Yeah. And RJ Pearson has a great comment here, which is curious how AI changes how people engage. To at Stephen Nick's point, are people nice to AI or more blunt? Does it affect how people engage later in life too? That kind of reminds me of this idea, like I think there's going to be a lot of people who would have gone into software engineering a few years ago that aren't going to now because they're going to be convinced that AI can just do it. Or people who learn how to code with AI first. And I'm not like, I think it's going to change a little bit of the experience and probably lessen some people's abilities. And we're probably going to get some smart people going elsewhere because of it, which is sad. But it definitely changes how you interact with the world. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Oh, is the bot with us?
Oh, I'm here.
Are you breathing?
I'm here.
Oh, I didn't see a
just-
head shake, a heartbeat.
Listening.
This is how I know. One thing. Okay. The communication thing bothers me because I can always tell someone who just like where they got their information from, and I'm just like, this sounds very like you read this off of social media. And even the other day, like I had to have a AI fact checking moment with my mother. This is another tangent. I remember telling mom, I was like, Mom, no, this is not America's Got Talent with some random conjoined twins. And it was just like there's this content farm that like has all these sensationalized stories. And she's like, it's not real. I was like, no, this is what you have to look for. It almost looks like a cartoon. But I think you'll start to kind of see how people are ingesting their content. So I do think you'll start to see the people that are like, oh, AI told me this versus I learned this, like the practice, even in dance, actually, I'm going to go into, you could tell a person who's like a at home. Yes. The hands. You could tell a person who's like a classically trained chef versus a person who just like self-taught, And I remember seeing that with my mother. I remember one day I was like, Mom, you're doing a lot of stuff that someone who went to culinary school would learn. And she was like, yeah, actually I'd started to go to culinary school, but she had left out. But a lot of her like practices were very someone who would have went to like a culinary school. And I think that's what we're going to start to see, which is like the way people communicate. You're going to see like, were you raised on ChatGPT? Were you raised, did you go to school?
You get people now who were raised on social media, and that's it changes how you communicate. It changes how you talk.
So it's like, yeah, I think we're going to probably see that. Also, I think it can create a level of arguing and not understanding. I think one thing I've even seen, which is like people are constantly trying to find the holes in things. So I don't feel like there is sometimes an aspect of like learning at times. So I think even just like this arguing energy of just like a lot of the back and forth, you know, versus just like taking information.
Yeah.
What do I need from it? You know? So I think that could be
Here's the scary one. My grandma, this is before AI, sent me an article that was incorrectly attributed to who wrote it, and it was like an inflammatory political thing. And I'm like, hey grandma, this isn't like somebody wrote this to from. And her response was, it doesn't matter, the content's what matters. And I was like, no, but it does. And I feel like at some point for some people, they don't care if it's right or wrong if they agree with it, which is the scary part. And they won't care if it's AI or not because they agree with it. And I think that's really the scary part about human nature. It's like we just want to we want something that we agree with, even if it's false, because it's telling our truth. And that's pretty scary. And I think AI is just going to make that worse, because you can have AI that agrees with you on anything you want it to.
Yeah. I think that's like a big fundamental inherent risk with all of this. Is like it looks good enough, right? Like, you know, it's a lot of times like it will give you a well-reasoned, like fairly well written, like you'll look at a thing and you're like, a person could have written that. And it's like, no, a person didn't write that. Also, here's like the 10 holes in it if you were to like even just research it a little bit. So I don't know. I've run into a lot of that, and it's tough. It's tough to like it's tough to reason through like how to have that conversation. You know, like I think we've had for a long time, oh, just, you know, I saw it on the internet, it must be true. Like that's only getting worse, because like it's not just, oh, because it's on the internet it was true. It's like, because it looks like this was reasoned through and presented as a valid argument, it must be true. And it's like, no, we've had that problem forever. Like writers do stuff like that all the time. Like
even the delivery. I used to always say, like,
wild.
Someone will say something like this and they will sound very like they talk slowly and they will talk like this. And you're like, wow, you're saying something important. It's like, no, I'm saying bullshit. But
Really
but like but like, I'm not saying bullshit, but you know, like even just the ways in which people will use voice and they're like, this is how I sound like an expert, just like that. You know, and so yeah, this is very concerning. This is actually, wow, this is not the tone I thought we'd be.
Just got deeper.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I want to look at, right? Like it's the kind of thing I want to look into. It's like, I think the ultimate thing is like, should I use AI for this thing? Like, is this the kind of thing where I should use AI or should I not? And like, what guardrails do I need to put on the process to know that I'm not going to end up with results that, you know, aren't good? I don't know. Like, you know, I'd rather live in a world where I could play this game on my little desk, the little miniature version of the game.
You have Tiny Drop?
Would love to play Tiny Drop all day, but I have to reason through like whether AI is good for the world or not.
Wait, can we? Oh, wait, does that still work?
Yeah, I just made a miniature version of it while we were talking.
Whoa.
You can play it on the desk.
Kind of wild.
That you just blew my mind. I wish it would land in your drink. That's my only complaint.
I think it's funny that the first place it put the pool was
right
under my drink. That is funny. But I don't know. I think about this stuff a lot because it's tough to like, it's tough to reason through, like, is this an okay thing to use for this particular task? Where I've come down is like, it is great. Again, it's great for brainstorming. It's great for thought exercises. It's great for creative tasks. I think anytime you're getting to the point where you're hoping it's going to solve something for you, I think you need to have a really deep conversation with yourself about whether that's the case or not. You know,
why you want it to do that for you.
Why do you need it to solve a problem? And that's where I think all these conversations around like workers being replaced and that kind of thing, it's like, is that possible for that role? And there are plenty of roles where, like, yeah, maybe it is. I think I'm a strong advocate for this on this side of the thing, right? I think there are jobs where there is a risk that AI could get good enough at doing what you do that you may have an issue. And one of the ones got the hiccups. RJ Pearson says, but does investor pressure change the question of should we add AI to this?
It 100% does.
It does. And like, and I think that speaks to what I'm talking about here, which is just there are things that are easier to solve with this stuff than others. I think writers, for instance, different types of writing, there are types of writing that people do by hand right now that could be done by AI. Now, does that mean that every writer under the sun should be scared? No. What it actually means, and this is where like the people that don't want to get involved with AI because they're worried it's going to take people's jobs, they're often the kind of people whose jobs could potentially be augmented or replaced. What those folks should be doing rather than being anti-AI and being scared of AI is learning how to do what they do better with AI. If you're in a position where AI could take your job, don't let it. Use it to show how you can use it to be better at what you do, right? And like that, to me, that is the answer. It's not let's be scared, the sky is falling, all of that kind of thing. Use these tools to get better at what you do that you're worried about it replacing, so that they don't replace you. They're like, wow, this person's using AI and there's so much. Your drink did land in my water. Your drop did land in my water. That's good. I'm gonna give you points for that. But that's my whole take, is just use the tools to get better at what you do, especially if you're a person that's at risk of your thing being taken over by AI. You can do better than the AI at what you do. Use it to help you though. Like if you're really writing copy that's easy enough for a bot to write, you need to be using that tool now.
100%. I think that's our hot take. I hope that's what you clip and put on social media for this week, because that's you're 100% right. And it's like the people who are excelling and doing the top-notch work, they're not going to be replaced, but everything in between, you're going to be able to do more with AI. And look, if we know anything from how technology has changed things, it doesn't replace people. It just means that people are asked to do more. So get ready to be able to do more with these tools that we have. And I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. The tools aren't, I don't see the tools coming to replace people right now, because as we've illustrated a few times, the tools aren't ready for that yet in most cases. Yeah. But what they are ready for is to be used in that capacity, right? Like the tools are in a place where people are writing headlines, people are naming products, probably people are writing blog posts, and that means you gotta learn how to use those tools to make your writing tasks easier, more efficient. But that holds off that inevitable, like, eventually this tool's probably going to be good enough to write the easy things that you write. It's
and I think also just getting back into the fundamentals, right? Like, I think this can be a reminder to, like, go back to your poker fundamentals. Do you know how to play poker well, right? Those are the important takeaways. No, I do think it's just like an invitation to feel empowered. Like, when we expose these things, it's not necessarily like doom and gloom, but actually, like, how do you feel empowered to build? How do you build despite all the things, all the discoveries?
Definitely.
No, yeah.
I think that's a great place to wrap up today too. That was great.
It's a great
point,
place to
Brent.
land.
I loved that
No pun.
final punctuation. Great place to land. If anyone wants to do a final drop, see if they can get it in Brent's cup. Brent
Behind
for
the
real.
scenes. Behind the scenes.
Oh, we got an Andrew.dev. Oh,
Spotted an angel.
dropped. Nice.
There we go. There we go.
am
Little tiny drop.
super excited for next week. Wait, Andrew, do you guys? We should have asked for shop this. Do you have a launch date for your Build a Blog show? If you do, drop it in chat and we'll shout you out. I'm super excited for next week. We have fellow Coloradan product manager at Twilio. I've worked with him a little bit more recently, and it's been awesome. Brendan Hawkins is going to be joining us. He is the PM in charge of our new product called Conversation Relay, which is our kind of voice AI integration. And so I'm super excited. We're going to talk to him about his journey to Twilio, what he did at Twilio before Conversation Relay, and then kind of what customers were asking for and why we decided to build Conversation Relay the way we did. I'm super excited for that chat. It's just going to be great. Brandon's great. So I'm excited for that.
And as we mentioned, this was our well, we'll probably have other months of pilots, but this is our last pilot show of the month. So definitely let us know in Discord which shows that you're looking forward to. Say them all because we kind of like them all. And also if you have any ideas or thoughts on like what you want to see more of in those shows, they definitely are welcome. You know, our show hosts are definitely welcome to the feedback. It was so great to have Bot and Brent on the show today.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was. And I want to actually give a nice clap because, you know, Chef Bot Brent has, you know, hasn't been on stream in, you know, like this in a minute. So just wanted to say welcome. And we're super excited to see the show take flight.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If this is the end of pilot month, what are you doing? What are you doing next week?
Yeah. So, I just said what I was doing next week. We're doing, Brandon Hawkins is going to come. Next week is the start of.
Sorry, I caught that part, but like, what is your,
theme?
I'm assuming you have a February theme of sorts.
Golly gee.
Is voice AI. So it's going to be, I'm so glad we had RJ in there asking questions about voice. We're going to have a PMM who worked on the voice stuff at Twilio. We're going to have a solution architect who has built out some demos and show his demos that use voice AI at Twilio. And then we're going to have someone from the ETI team, the emerging technology team at Twilio, talk about how it integrates with some of those products. We're still figuring out our fourth one. But the whole theme for February is going to be voice AI and how we're implementing it, how we're doing it, why it's important, how people are using it. It's one of those things that seems like everyone's doing and isn't that easy. And so that's why we're going to talk about it more. Super excited about it though.
And on our oh gosh, why is my
headphone down?
But we're back.
We're back.
Can you hear me? Okay. So yes, on our February theme, all things AI. If you can't get enough of us on stream, we also have a few live events as well. So we'll definitely share those live events. We're a bit more buttoned up on those calls, but again, next month will be all things AI. We'll do deep dives. You'll learn more from different folks on our team here at Twilio, as well as just kind of play around with some of the different things that they're building and working on. So we're super excited. Bring a friend, tell a friend, join the Discord.
Yeah. So thank you.
Okay, that was awesome. And if you could just one more time, Alex.
Yeah.
Say, our February theme for A/B testing is right into the camera.
Our February theme for A/B testing is voice and AI. We're going to dive into how Twilio is trying to incorporate AI into voice, which is such an important channel for all of our customers.
Cool. Not me, asking for live production.
No.
For definitely not a trailer or anything like that.
We need the little
I definitely wasn't trying to
clip it.
I definitely wasn't trying to get footage at all.
Just
definitely
wasn't. But we forgot the most important aspect. Where can people find us?
You go for it.
Okay, so you can find us every Tuesday, 2 p.m. on Twitch. Twilio Diffs.
We're there. And
See
then,
ya.
if you want to catch Andrew and I tomorrow, we have a webinar tomorrow too. You can see that at developers.twilio.com. It's our webinar. We're going to be talking about Twilio Video, which is back. And that's our Twilio built the video star level up.
Nice.
We got to find good names.
Naming things is hard, y'all. It's really hard.
We have fun with it.
Yeah, it's a tough skill. It's a tough skill.
All right. We'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Bye. Oh, right. I have to. I'm the one that clicks the buttons. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Click the button, Brent.
No.
Click
no.
it. Ah!
Fine. Bye, everyone.